Before I forget, did want to give a special thank you to Kurt Roth and his amazing staff. We had a little gala last night that probably doubled in size from, maybe tripled in size from last year to this year. Raised some great money for obviously NIL, which is the new world we're living in. So very, very appreciative of Kurt and his staff for doing an amazing job. Excited about, you saw the jerseys. I know it's our birthday, New Mexico State birthday. Jerseys look amazing. Our people did an amazing job of designing those. I know our fans will love them. So excited about that. And then, looking back at Colorado State, tough game. Colorado State's really good. It's hard to win in that building. I thought first half we were right there with them. I think the game changed when Jaylen got his fourth foul. We fought to cut it to 6 a couple times, which was great. But a lot to learn from that game. And guys have been really, really good in practice, and excited for a really, really challenging Wyoming team. The players have changed significantly, but always very, very hard to guard. So fired up Saturday night in the pit, can't beat it.
We start with what you just mentioned with Jaylen. If the game changes when he's out, and he knows that, you've talked with him, is there anything new to try and kind of get him to understand that the team needs him out there more than sometimes he realizes in the moment?
Hypnosis? I don't know. I mean, we've talked to him about it. He has to see it. He has to understand it. We've had many conversations. He's somewhat improved, but that's the good and the bad with Jaylen. He's so emotional and he's so fiery and he wants to win, but sometimes emotions can get the best of him with maybe even that third and fourth foul. He got to figure it out, and we'll continue to do our best to help him on it, but we are clearly better when he's on the court.
And as a follow-up to that, do you know why? I know he makes everyone better because he's better than when you have more talent on the floor, the team's better, but why is it that the other 4 guys seem to have their energy picked up when he's out there so much?
Plays really, really hard, and I think they see it. He flies around. He's an elite defender. Now, sometimes he gets a little fired up in fouls, obviously. So that was challenging, but he's also making some shots. He just plays so hard, and I think it's just when you look over and a guy's playing that hard, it's contagious. He's got one of the higher motors of any players I've coached in the 12 years. So, the 2 losses we had, he played 18 minutes and then he didn't play versus St. Mary's. So need him on the court. Certainly a lot more than 18 minutes.
So we've seen him have outstanding defensive games without fouling. And it seemed like even the fouls that he got, at least 2 of them, I can't remember all 4, but were away from the ball. So here he shows this excellence of guarding anybody full court, and then these other fouls occur away from the ball, stuff like that. Is it just a lack of concentration, or
well, the third and fourth foul were off the ball. I would say the fourth one was a tad unlucky because he kind of got tangled up with their big kid and the kid fell down. And normally refs are going to call it if somebody falls down. The third one, he was a little handsy on a down screen and the kid rejected it. He's just got to be more disciplined. That's the bottom line. You got to. I thought we played hard. We broke down in discipline for that little stretch in the second half.
Whether Jaylen's on the court or not, how do you hope to kind of get the offense moving with whatever rotation might be out there, not maybe so stagnant as it kind of looked a little bit of Colorado State at times?
Well, we got to make shots. Obviously, you've got a guy in MASH who's a 18-point, 19-point scorer who hasn't made shots yet. That I would certainly think that would have a lot to do with the fact that he hasn't played a lot. So I think shot making is important. Free throw shooting was an issue. I've never started a game 1 for 8 from the free throw line. That's a major, major problem that we're trying to work on because those are empty possessions. We had 3 front end to 1-and-1s. So you could justifiably say you go from 68 points to 75, and the offense looks a little bit different. So a little bit of everything, and just keep working on it and keep gelling together chemistry wise.
On the free throw part of it, you guys aren't taking as many as last year either. And part of it's because you're missing it, but the point, distribution, you guys averaged, I think, 22, 23%. Almost a fourth of your points last year were off at the free throw line, and you're just not getting there as much this year. How much of that is House and Mash miss so much time, and those are two guys that get fouled a lot, and how much of it is anything different that you guys are doing on the field?
I think it's that. I think it's House and Mash missing a lot of games because they're high free throw guys. And then I think we've missed some front end of 1-on-1. So simple math, right? That's going to be one less free throw in those things. So I think that number is going to go up as those guys hopefully stay healthy.
So simple math of journalists.
Yeah, no, I know. Jeez.
With Wyoming, obviously they went down to the wire, got a big win at home against San Jose State.
Yeah, different players for sure, but kind of some similarities of what they've always done. The 2 years I've been here, whether it's they're going to the Kid Walters a lot in that post and kind of that Maldonado role. Obviously, Maldonado was one of the more unique players I've ever seen in my life, but he's a tough cover down there. They run a lot of kind of ball screen, throw it to the pocket pass, make you make a decision on that. So, it's always really, really hard to guard. And they slow the game down. They don't play at a high tempo. They don't fast break much. So there's got to have to be a great, great spirit to our guys over 40 minutes because those type, with Wyoming, it's always going to be maybe a lower possession game because they won't fast break as much. So we got to be really disciplined, but it's a conference game. They're all hard, and Wyoming did a great job of fighting back for San Jose and making a big play at the end of the game. So they got good talent, always very, very well coached. So it'll be a challenge.
I know you guys are locked in on Wyoming, but just with the way that Tuesday went, how do you feel like the guys have responded? These last 2 days of practice.
Good, yeah. We hadn't lost a game since November 9th. I had people saying, hang in there, coach. I'm like, well, hang in there. It's one game losing streak. So they're good. It's part of the deal. We thought that playing the top 15 team on the road would be challenging. What I told our guys was, you did a great job in the first half. You should never – we're not going to win every game. We should not be down double digits like that, in my opinion. But credit to Colorado State, too. It's a tough place to play, and they're a really good team. So they bounced back with we practiced the next day, and they've been really good.
How's True feeling?
Better, yeah. He was throwing up, I don't know, but in the second half, that was the hard part of I was hoping to go to him more with foul trouble and him out. It made it challenging because he's been obviously a key piece. But he kind of had, I think, what we all have had, and obviously hard to play through that. I know I had it for about 3 weeks. It was hard to coach. So he looked better last night at the gala. He was still a little bit sick after the game, but I think he's good to go.
That's one of them with True, but there were some questions I had about the rotation, and it looked like Mustapha really struggled at the 5 at times. Part of that's Cartier, who's mostly a stretch 5, he was having a great game inside, which I hadn't seen the few times I'd watched him quite as much as he did the other night. But Mustapha struggled at the 5. He didn't go with Sebastian. I'm curious if that front court gave you any reason for concerns that maybe we didn't realize were there earlier, the depth of the front court. Because Nelly got 3.
I don't think Nelly was in foul trouble, obviously hard. I don't think Mustapha was the reason Cartier scored 21 points. He didn't score them all on Mustapha. We have looked at Mustapha as more of a 4 or 5 role, and I've liked it. When you're in that environment, I want to go older guys right now, experienced guys. Sebastian, although he's older, doesn't have a lot of experience gameplay. So I did not see it as one guy was responsible for that. He had a lot of like a pick and pop 3 that has nothing to do with post defense. He had a spin for a basket that was more help side stuff. So I don't think it was Cartier versus somebody. I think it was a collection of guys. So I don't think it was a rotational issue that was lost. Now I do think our front court needs to rebound the ball better. We got crushed on the glass, not great. We got to take more pride in collectively stopping Cartier. But some of that was off of back screens and not communicating and things like that. So it was not, in my opinion, a one-on-one okay, you're not doing your part, bench him, put that other guy in. I didn't see that.
How's Donovan Dent? Is he,
How is he?
Yeah, health-wise. I mean, he seemed like he was a little less explosive.
He's had a nagging kind of quad issue that when it gets kind of hit, it hurts. He was struggling a little bit at halftime, where it's definitely slowed him down a little bit. Like he's not moving at the pace that we need him to. So he's been hobbled for sure. So we've got to. He's looked better in the last couple of days of practice, but I think it's one of those things where he gets hit and it slows him down a little bit. Because he's not moving the way we need him to move. When he does that, he's pretty good.
What about Isaac?
What about him? What's wrong with him?
Just because he missed some time, a few weeks ago. How's he progressing and stuff like
Yeah, he's good. He's 100% healthy.
Did you see? I know you said you practiced since then. Guys look good. Guys seem to be responding well. But I'm curious if you saw Tuesday night the freshmen maybe or the new guys that maybe the transfers hadn't been in an environment like that, quiet in the conference play at Mountain West level. I think surprises some people sometimes that they don't realize it's as good as it is.
Yeah, I think if you look at our schedule, and maybe it's my fault, I don't know, but like St. Mary's was so long ago, that was your true road game. I think New Mexico State, they're going to get there. Like that's going to be the smallest crowd we'll ever play down there, and their team will get better and better. Coach Hooten will do a great job of building that program. So that was a true road game, but maybe not to the sense of what it's always going to be. So it had been a long time since we played in a true road game. That was January. Was it January? It was January 2nd, right? So you went from November 9th with St. Mary's to that, where we hadn't had that kind of raucous environment. I don't know if it was on, like JT was pretty damn good. He didn't seem rattled. I thought we were right there until Jaylen got his fourth foul. So I don't think anybody wasn't ready for the moment. I think, Colorado State's pretty good. And I think that had a lot to do with it.
With JT getting his double-double, what more can we expect, like the next few weeks going into more competitive games and conference play?
I don't know. I can't predict the future, certainly, but he's been pretty impressive after we've played 14 games. What I love about him is he just stuffs the stat sheet. Like he had 11 rebounds. Nelly played 27 minutes, had 2 rebounds. That's more of an issue than a lot of what we're talking about is that rebounding side of it. Nelly's been great. Maybe it's the foul trouble that slowed him down to be more aggressive. But JT is certainly production-wise phenomenal. He is still a freshman, and it's still extremely early in the season. Freshmen tend to hit a wall. So, that's one of those things we've got to be cognizant of, certainly because he's important to the team and we can't have him hit that wall. So something we'll watch for. Just keep grinding out every day.
Mason Walters is a guy, NAIA Player of the Year last year. The recruiting of NAIA and Division II players is something that a couple teams in the league have had some success with lately. I'm curious what your history is with that. It's not as easy to recruit the D2 and D3 or NAIA level, but
I'm open to all of them. I haven't had any yet, but recruiting has changed significantly so much. Now, a lot of those guys, they're recruited pretty highly too, but I know like Colorado State, Scott is certainly that, Cartier is certainly that. Walters is a terrific player on that. So I'm kind of open to everything. It's not, we tell our guys, monitor everything right now. We're no different than ADs who got their little short list for coaches. If they think they're going to fire a coach may move on. It's no different to what we're doing now. We don't know who's going to be here, right? I mean, there's so many things that go into it, and nobody knows. So you've got to be, you got to look at the numbers in the D2, and you got to see those things and constantly be ready for whatever may happen.
So going back with the original statement, the importance of events like last night and like this whole scheme.
It's like I try to explain to people. It's I feel like an athletic director. And athletic directors have to constantly be aware of a coach moving on, maybe making a change or whatever, like especially towards the end of the year, to just see where everybody's head's at. And the goal is for me, and I'm sure it's for Eddie and all the other ADs, is to, if you really, really like a guy, make it great for him, and you're only going to have so much money, right? And NIL is super important, but you're not going to outbid everybody all the time. Like, that's just the reality of it. Everybody's going to have, you have to have it, right? For sure. So you've got to figure out, on my end, is how do we make this an amazing experience to where they build trust and they build that. And then when they do make a decision, it's not solely about money. Because I did not decide to come here because of money. Now, I wouldn't have come for free. It's reality. But that's where you try to, with the NIL, make it competitive. You know what I mean? And to where it is there, and certainly it's a part of it. It's not everything. So on our end, what we try to do is get them better, pour our heart and soul into them as people, get them to understand that we do care. This is a good culture, good environment. They want to play in front of our amazing fans. You hope they understand that. I don't know if I understood that at 30 years old when I went from FIU to Minnesota. I think I understand it more now. That's part of the deal. And it's to have events like we had last night. We have to. It's like a startup company. It just is, and we've got to build it. And this community has got to understand the importance of it. And if you come to this game, and we'll have 13, 14, 15,000 tomorrow night, and if you're having a blast, which I know our fans do, this is a part of it.
You kind of touched on it at the beginning, just with the jerseys and the New Mexico's birthday and all that stuff. And you've said in the past multiple times just how this is your new adopted home. So just to be a part of, a night like that tomorrow, and just give these fans just something even more proud of New Mexico to be. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I'm like an Army brat. I don't really have a home. Minnesota was kind of my home because it was 8 years. I've never lived anywhere longer than 8 years. So in Minnesota, I had 2 children born there. It was 8 years. It was great. And that was kind of my home. And when you move down to New Mexico, and I had spent one night here in the pit when Louisville beat West Virginia, but I didn't know much about it. And at first it was for sure foreign to me. I hadn't had a lot of time here. It feels like home now. It does. And my kids got amazing friends, and that's so important to me. My wife's got amazing friends. Those things really do matter to me. For me as a coach, it's about winning. It's not about the socializing part of it. But I want to make sure my family's good, and I think New Mexico has wrapped their arms around us. They've been, and I understand if you lose, they'll turn on you like they do everybody, but that's not just our fan base. But it's special, and I wanted to come to a community where they care about basketball. And there's a pride level here. Obviously, generations have grown up here. When we go to kids' events, there's no seats because you got the grandparents, the uncles, the aunts, everybody. So with the Patinos, just kind of sit on the side with our 5. But that's what's awesome about it. It's great. You get to know so many special people. So we've loved it. We've really, really enjoyed our time here. And when you have a night like this where everybody, the thing I love about the pit is it's a community deal. And when you can celebrate, obviously, the state's birthday in a building that I know everybody cherishes, it's awesome.
Yeah, my mom here and sister flew from Finland to here, so they with me here.
How long are they here for?
Sunday.
Till Sunday?
So they get to see the game on Saturday.
What's it like? We have players that come and go from Albuquerque all the time, mostly from around the country, right? And they can get on a flight and go see family at the holidays. They can go home and see people a lot more easy than somebody from Finland.
Yeah.
What's it like to have family here and see kind of in your home, your temporary home? What's it like to have family come visit you during the season?
It's definitely nice. I get to see them usually in the summer, one time a year. So when they come here, it means a lot. It's definitely nice, get to speak Finnish with somebody, But it's fun. It's nice.
Is there one? Do you have a spot yet? You've been here since summer, so do you have a spot yet in Albuquerque that you got to make sure you take them to go eat?
They like Sawmill a lot, so
Okay.
we go to Sawmill every time. So
A little bit of everything.
yeah, that's true.
Have they ever come see you play before in the States?
Yeah, one time last year they came. So
How'd you do in that game compared to?
it was pretty good. I had 20 points and we won the game, so it was a good one.
So just having them here, that fires you up to put up a show, I guess.
Yeah, it's nice having them here. So when we don't have practice games, I just hang out with them. We do some stuff, so it's nice.
I'm going to ask you about like you in basketball here in a minute, but what kind of fans are they? Can you hear them yelling? Are they yellers? Are they yelling at the ref? Are they yelling at you? Are they quiet?
My mom definitely gets mad at the refs, but my dad is even worse. So he's not here today, or he's not here this week. So it'll be a little bit less, but you might still hear them.
So she's going to fit right in the pit.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's talk basketball. Tuesday night was rough. You haven't really practiced you a whole lot at the 5 this year, and you had to play a lot of 5 with Nelly and foul trouble and stuff like that on Tuesday. What's your transition to? I know 5 isn't your natural position, but what's your transition like getting more minutes at the 5?
I feel like whatever coach makes me do, I do. It's basketball at the end of the day, so it don't really matter to me if I play 5-4-3. Just I feel like if I'm on the court, I can help the team play better. So whatever makes me be on the court, that I'll do it.
You had obviously we know, and I know you're more aware than us, but you had a stretch where you had missed a whole lot of threes, right? And you were struggling offensively, but that's kind of gone away a little bit. You're getting back up to speed offensively. How much of that is a weight off the shoulders? Do you feel differently on the court, and is there any difference with the confidence or anything offensively now that you kind of seen some shots fall?
I mean, of course, it's nice to see them, but I don't think about it too much when I play. I just play basketball. I know I can shoot the ball, so whenever I'm open, I'm gonna shoot it. If it don't go in, it don't go in. But I'm trying to make every shot I take.
So you got your first conference game under your belt. What did it feel like to play in that kind of environment with that kind of intensity, especially on the road against a tough ranked team as well?
It was a good experience. Nice, Colorado State had a good team. They have a good atmosphere there. The fans were talking the whole game. It was nice. It's nothing new, but a little bit different from non-conference, definitely.
Right. So you feel like what did you take from that game heading into Wyoming? You already know it's going to be kind of high intensity, but is it kind of just like, okay, we're in conference now, kind of?
Yeah, it's always a little bit different feeling when conference starts. Games mean much for the fans, for the community. It's schools we play every year, so definitely trying to get every win we can.
A big part of Tuesday's game was Jaylen House gets in foul trouble and only plays 18 minutes. While he's on the floor, you guys are plus 10, and when he's off, you guys weren't plus 10. What's it like playing with a guy like Jaylen House? How different is it when he's on the floor for you guys? Because it looks like the whole team's energy level kind of picks up when he's on the floor. Is it something that's sort of contagious, or is it something that he's doing that gets everybody kind of playing a little bit differently?
Yeah, he's definitely important for us. He plays with a lot of fire, so it helps everybody. See him pick somebody full court, pressing them. It gives energy to the whole defense. And just the intensity, everybody picks up on it. So it's definitely changes the game a little bit whenever he can't play. But we still got, a lot of guys. True was a little bit sick, so he couldn't play that much. But we have a lot of guards who can play when he don't play. But he's a big part of what we do.
You mentioned True being sick too, and you guys have had just a lot of rotations this year with House and Mash kind of being out the times they were. How do you make sure that when you go in, what you kind of bring what you're supposed to, but also just you guys don't really lose? I don't know. The offense looked a little stagnant at times, but to make sure that you guys go in and things keep flowing, or do you think that's something that's just going to take time as you guys just gel together? Because you guys haven't all really played together that much. Do you think it's just a time thing? Or?
I think it's just reps time. It's never like nobody has a fully healthy season ever. No team really. So at this point, it's just trying to see how we can play together. One guy goes down, somebody else steps up, and it's just good teams still gonna be able to handle the business.
Are you like a matchup against Wyoming? Because they're not Colorado State, obviously.
Yeah,
like different style of team.
It's different. I played them last year. We played in Chicago. I know something about them. They good shooting team. I think if we play hard, good defense, execute, it should be pretty easy game for us. But you never know. We're in the conference, so they gonna give their best. But I think they give their best. We give our best. We gonna beat them.
What's it like going down the ramp to play for the Lobos? Your mom's here and a family here.
Yeah.
And, mean, just what goes through your mind?
It's much easier than going up the ramp, but but it's a nice feeling, you know, seeing the fans. It kind of opens up. It's you know, hard to explain when you see the packed house. It just gives a lot of energy.
Anything else?
Have you introduced them to green chili yet?
No, I haven't yet. My sister don't really like
What
green
about you?
chili.
You
Something,
you're
yeah.
starting to mix in some green chili?
I see. Not really mixing, because I see, you know, Shane from here. He eats green chili with everything. I can't do that, but I tried it. It's cool. It's, you know, it's nice touch sometimes, but not every time.
You're not there just yet.
Not yet.
I'll ask you again in March.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.